village and the warning. The road to the village of Yonxi was narrow, winding along rice paddies and mountains wrapped in clouds. By the time Lin Yue, a wandering scholar, arrived, the sun had already fallen behind the horizon. The air smelled of rain and wood smoke. He found shelter at a humble tea house where the locals gathered. The innkeeper, an elderly woman with silver hair tied in a knot, served him a bowl of hot millet porridge. As Lin Yue warmed his hands, he asked about the strange grove he had seen on the edge of the village. At once, the tea house grew silent. Old farmer lowering his voice, "You speak of the bamboo grove of eternal echoes. Best not to go near it, scholar. At night, the dead whisper there." Many who entered never returned, Lin Yue calmly. And those who returned, innkeeper shaking her head, they returned with white hair and hollow eyes, their souls broken, their minds lost. "Please, sir, do not tempt fate." But Lin Yue was not easily swayed. His journey was one of seeking forgotten truths, and whispers of the spirit world had always drawn him closer, not pushed him away. That night, while the village slept, he took his lantern and walked toward the grove. Entering the grove, rain began to fall, soft at first, then heavy, drumming against the earth. The bamboo forest loomed ahead tall, endless, swaying like silent guardians. The lantern's glow trembled against the mist. The grove was unlike any forest Lin Yue had known. The bamboo stalks seemed to lean closer the deeper he walked, their emerald leaves shivering though no wind blew. He paused, listening, and then he heard it, a whisper. Faint at first, like a sigh, then another, overlapping it. Soon dozens of whispers filled the air, rising and falling like the breath of a sleeping beast. Whisper soft, broken, traveler. Why do you walk where the living should not tread? From the mist appeared a woman dressed in white. Her robe flowed like water, her hair trailing behind her. Her face was pale, her eyes deep pools of sorrow. Lin Yue bowing slightly. "If you are a spirit, I mean no harm. I seek only to understand why this grove weeps with voices." The spirit voice trembling. "My name is Myhue. I was betrayed here. By one I loved, his dagger pierced my heart, and my blood soaked these roots. Since then, I cannot leave. My voice lingers, trapped among the bamboo." The rain fell harder. Every drop struck the bamboo like a drum, creating a mournful rhythm. "Lin Yue, if it is vengeance you seek, tell me the name of the man." Myhue shaking her head. "No vengeance, only release. The dagger that ended me is buried beneath the roots of the oldest stalk. Burn it in sacred fire, and I will be free." The search. Lin Yue placed his lantern on the ground and knelt in the mud. His hands dug into the earth, searching between twisted roots. The soil was heavy, clinging to his fingers like blood. At last, he felt it cold steel. He pulled it free. The dagger was rusted, its hilt cracked, but even in decay it carried a dark aura. The whispers in the grove grew louder. Dozens of voices now filled the air, men, women, children, each overlapping, until they became a chorus of sorrow. Whispers. "Free us! Free us!" Lin Yu's heart pounded, but he kept his grip firm on the weapon. He tore a sheet of parchment from his journal. On it he painted protective sigils in black ink, whispering incantations he had learned from old texts. He set the parchment aflame with his lantern. The fire was small, fragile, but it burned bright in the darkness. Lin Yue placed the dagger into the flames. The grove erupted. 1,000 voices screamed at once, shaking the very ground. Bamboo stalks swayed violently, though no storm wind blew. The air was filled with both agony and relief, as if chains were breaking. Mei's form flickered, her robes fluttering like smoke. Meihua softly smiling. "Thank you, traveler. Your courage has ended my sorrow." She bowed deeply, then dissolved into mist. The other voices fell silent one by one, until the grove was still. Just as Lin Yue turned to leave, another whisper reached his ears, faint, almost drowned by the rain. Unknown voice. "Scholar, it is not over. Beneath the earth lies more than sorrow. The grove is a gate, and the gate is opening." Lin Yue froze. His lantern flickered. The bamboo leaves rustled as though warning him. He realized that Mei's curse was only a fragment of the truth. There were others, countless spirits still bound. The grove was not merely haunted. It was a prison. And now, something stirred within it. Epilogue. Departure. When Lin Yue returned to the village at dawn, his robe soaked, and his lantern empty of flame, the villagers gasped. Innkeeper shocked. "You went into the grove and lived." Lin Yue simply bowed his head. He spoke nothing of Meihua, nor of the final whisper he had heard. Some truths, he knew, must remain hidden until the time was right. But deep in his chest, he felt it. The bamboo grove of eternal echoes had not released all its voices. Something dark awaited beneath its roots, and one day, he would have to return. The Weeping Pagoda. Tonight, I will tell you a story carried by rain and sorrow. The legend of the Weeping Pagoda. The rain poured over Sokyon village, striking rooftops and dripping from the curved eaves of wooden houses. Lanterns swayed, their flames fighting against the storm. On the hill above the village stood the 5-tier pagoda, black against the lightning. Children whispered that the pagoda cried with the voice of a lonely bride. Adults forbade anyone to go there after dark. But curiosity is stronger than fear. Jiwoo, clutching a bamboo lantern, turned to his friend. "Minjun, are you afraid?" Minchun's face was pale. "My grandmother says, if you hear her voice, she will follow you home." Still, both boys climbed the slippery path. Each step echoed with the splash of water and the creak of soaked wood beneath their sandals. At the top of the hill, the pagoda loomed like a giant shadow. Rain trickled down its cracked stones like tears. Suddenly, soft sobbing carried by the wind. The boys froze. The sound was faint, but clear. A woman crying. Jiwoo's lantern flickered. "Lady Seoyeon, is that you?" From behind the pagoda, a figure stepped forward. A woman in a crimson wedding hanbok, her face hidden behind a drenched veil. Her sleeves dragged across the ground, heavy with rainwater. "My groom," she whispered, her voice echoing through the stones. "Did you finally return?" Heartbeats growing louder. The boys trembled. Minjun grabbed Jiwoo's arm. "Don't answer her. If you speak, she will never let you go." But Jiwoo could not resist. "I am not your groom. I'm just..." The figure tilted her head. Slowly, the veil slipped, revealing pale skin, lips blue from eternal sorrow, and eyes black as midnight. Lightning cracked. The boys screamed and ran down the hill, mud splashing under their feet. But when they looked back, she was gone. The pagoda stood silent, only the rain remained. The next morning, the boys told the village elder, Monk Haiyan, a grey-robed priest who guarded the temple. He listened, stroking his long beard. "You should not have gone there," he warned. "That spirit has wandered for centuries. Many before you have heard her voice, and some never returned. Then free her," Jiwoo pleaded. "Let her rest," the monk sighed. "Her grief binds her. To release her, one must return what she waits for the groom who abandoned her." But his soul was lost long ago. That night, Monk Haiyan climbed the hill alone, carrying prayer beads and a small bronze bell. Rain falling slower. He knelt before the pagoda and began to chant, "Om Mani Padme Hum." But the sobbing rose louder, drowning his words. Sobbing turns into a wail, wind picks up. The spirit appeared again, her crimson hanbok trailing behind her like a river of blood. "Where is he?" she screamed. "Where is my groom?" Thunder shakes the ground. The monk struck his bell harder. "Lady Seo Yeon, release your pain. The world you seek is gone." Her veil flew back, revealing her hollow, dark eyes. She reached out, claw-like hands dripping with water. "If he will not return, then you will stay in his place." The villagers awoke at dawn to silence. The pagoda stood as always. The rain had stopped. But Monk Haiyan never returned. Only his bronze bell lay at the steps, rusted by the storm. Outrow voice lowers, slow, chilling. "They say on stormy nights, you can still hear the bell ringing," followed by the voice of a bride calling for her lost groom. "If you climb the hill, perhaps she will mistake you for him."